Today is Wednesday, August 16th, and the New York Jets hosted the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a joint practice today in Florham Park. And our New York Post sports columnist, Steve Serby, was there to see it. Steve, how you doing, man?
Good, Ryan. How about you?
I'm doing well. And obviously, the story coming out today with the training camp practice against the Buccaneers was the offensive line continued to struggle to protect Aaron Rodgers in that joint practice. So when you saw practice today, Steve, was that your assessment that came out when you watched practice?
Oh, absolutely. There was one occasion when Rodgers, under duress, flung the ball into the stands. He wasn't asked about it in his press conference, but maybe he was trying to send a message of disgust. Now he says, I asked him if what his level of concern is about the offensive line, and he said it's pretty low, but pretty soon it's going to be pretty high. The Bills are less than a month away, the regular season 9/11 home opener of the Aaron Rodgers era. And Aaron Rodgers is going to have to make like Robert Saleh on Hard Knocks, whether he likes it or not, if this continues. Now, granted, today there was a makeshift line.
Yeah.
You had no Dwayne Brown, who's on PUP, no Lakin Tomlinson, no AVT. So your starting line was, let me get my flip card, Billy Turner, left tackle, Joe Tipman, left guard, the rookie center, trying out at left guard, Connor McGovern, the veteran center, Wes Schweitzer at right guard, notorious rock climber, by the way, and Max Mitchell at right tackle. So understand, the Bucs have a good front, but this has been a recurring problem. We saw it in Carolina. I was down there in Spartanburg at Wofford College, and Rodgers believes they competed harder and better and protected each other better today than they did in Carolina. But that's one of those beauty is in the eyes of the beholder kind of thing, because it was very ugly in Carolina. But he needs to know, at least a week before the season begins, who the best five guys will be. And he doesn't know that right now. And he stresses that the reason they need to know this, he needs to know this, is there has to be a level of unspoken communication when they go into these loud stadiums. And right now that is sorely lacking. And Aaron Rodgers is going to have to inspire and encourage and get these five angry men to be his bodyguards, because he didn't come here to be flat on his back.
Right.
And we saw what a deadly combination Rodgers throwing to Garrett Wilson can be. Garrett Wilson can be Rodgers' Devontae Adams, but I've in my experience over the years covering the sport, I've observed that it's difficult for any quarterback to complete a pass when he's flat on his back.
So it's an astute observation by you, Steve.
Thank you.
But what's interesting in what you said here is obviously the makeshift line was at practice today, and you did ask him about his level of concern, and he kind of played it off. But does it become late early, early in this offseason? I mean, in training camp here, because we're less than a month away, like you said, from that week one starting, and there needs to be, Rodgers even admitted, there needs to be that cohesion, that chance to generate chemistry. So the injuries seem to be piling up here a little bit. Obviously, they're not major, but for you, as you're covering this team, are you more concerned than Rodgers may be letting on right now with this offensive line?
Well, you have to be. I think Jet Nation has to be. But Rodgers doesn't want to hit the panic button yet, but he's going to have to. Like he said, he wants to know who these five guys protecting him are a week before, at least a week, to develop continuity together and cohesiveness together a week before the regular season begins. Now, Dwayne Brown looked okay running across the field when the assistant coach, Tony Oden, went down during one of the 5 or 6 skirmishes with the Bucs during the joint practice. But But he's on the pup. He can come off at any time. But they're counting heavily on Dwayne Brown, 38-year-old Dwayne
Yeah.
Brown, who is a gamer, showed that he was a gamer a year ago, because Mekhi Becton right now is just not in the picture. Now, he's going to get some reps next week at right tackle, but Mekhi Becton has yet to uh, get confidence in his knee. And it's not easy for a 350-pound man,
No.
after all the weight he's lost, also, to get confidence in a bulky knee. So right now they can't count on Mekhi Becton. That would be right now a luxury, I believe, for Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett. But Dwayne Brown is the key, because if he can weather the storm and get back off the pup list, then Saleh will not have to move Elijah Vera Tucker to left tackle. AVT is his ace in the hole.
Yeah.
He can play any of the positions, invaluable Jet, but they don't want to do that. They think he can be a Pro Bowl guard, and I believe he can.
Yeah, that was gonna be my follow-up about this offensive line. Let's say if a Dwayne Brown did come back, Mekhi Becton, you addressed there, he just hasn't cracked that starting lineup yet, and you heard Robert Saleh speak about it today, saying he has to get through a full game before we can even consider putting him in with those ones to protect Aaron Rodgers. Um, Steve, obviously the offensive line was the focus today, but then the other news that came out today is obviously that Dalvin Cook signed officially with the Jets. There's been questions about this move of, did you really need a running back when you have Breece Hall, who just came off the pup list as well this week, who looked spectacular last year in his rookie year in those few games he's played? There's also the question of his character, the stuff going off the field with Dalvin Cook, and he's also 28 years old. So when you look at this move, Steve, for Dalvin Cook and the Jets bringing him into that running back room, what did you make of it?
Well, I thought it's a good move, because Brees Hall, no matter how good he looks, is coming off that ACL, and he has not played football since last October, when he went down against the Broncos along with AVT. So Dalvin Cook can help the Jets ease Brees Hall back into football shape. And once Brees, maybe, I don't know how long it's going to take, maybe halfway through the season, Brees can be the number one, and Dalvin can be the 1B. Dalvin Cook can be the 1B. But look, it never hurts to have two running backs. Aaron Rodgers had Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon in
Yep.
Green Bay, right? So, and Rodgers wanted Cook, which what Rodgers wants, Rodgers gets. So, and also signing Cook keeps him away from the Dolphins, who were
Yep.
also interested in Dalvin Cook. But yeah, look, it's going to be the Brees Hall show when he's fully healthy. But Dalvin Cook gives them the luxury of easing Brees back in, so he can be the Brees that Jet fans love, and what they remember from a year ago when he was on his way to an Offensive Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, you're absolutely hit the nail on the head there. And I think a lot of Jets fans are looking forward to just seeing how well this offense can start off, especially with that week one, that Bills matchup is going to be so big Monday night. Steve, real quick here, just to wrap all this up. I know we talked about the offensive line, we talked about Aaron Rodgers and Dalvin Cook, but looking at this team and this training camp and everything you've seen so far, is there any other big takeaway that you've seen thus far? Is it Rodgers? He's the real deal. Is it this Jets defensive line is elite? What exactly caught your eye about this team besides the offensive line and of course the running back room?
Well, the defense is going to keep the Jets in every game. The idea is for Rodgers and Garrett Wilson to hook up early and often, and maybe take a lead and let the defense pin their ears back and protect that lead, which the New York Sack Exchange did way back when. But yeah, that Quinnen Williams is the real deal. Will McDonald, the rookie, looks like a tremendous pass rusher. Carl Lawson, of course, is still nursing a bad back,
Mm-hmm.
but you know they've got Pro Bowl players at every level. You've got Quinnen Williams up front, and you've got waves and waves of defensive linemen that Saleh had in San
Yep.
Francisco. and you've got Mosley in the middle, the quarterback of the defense, and of course you've got Sauce and DJ Reed. Sauce got beat today, but by a rookie, a 60-yard bomb from Kyle Trask to what's his name? Trey. Hold it, I have it written down. Trey Palmer on my scorecard. But obviously, you're not going to worry about Sauce. That's going to happen. But yeah, that defense is elite. They're trying to be the number one defense in football, and they've got the pieces to certainly threaten being the number one defense in football. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun when Aaron Rodgers is on the sidelines. It's going to be fun for Jet fans to watch this defense, because that's the real deal. That is an intimidating defense that offenses will fear.
Listen, Steve Serby, we appreciate you as always. You can see some of his best work on Sundays with Serby. Obviously, you see that on YouTube.
No, this was my best work.
Nah, this is your best work.
Yeah.
Steve, I appreciate you as always. You can watch all of his coverage, obviously, in the post. And we appreciate you as always, man.
Thank you, Ryan. My pleasure.